Many thanks for making a date today on the marketplace. Now, the Deputy Minister of Communications, George Anda, has emphasized his ministry's commitment at creating a safer cyberspace for Ghanaians as the nation pursues a digitization agenda. According to the Deputy Minister, improving cybersecurity is keen on government's agenda at ensuring that citizens can operate on digital platforms without being exposed to dangers online. George Anda spoke at the launch of the Huawei IP Club that seeks to train and certify IT professionals.
As we scale up our digitization effort and increasingly embrace technology advancements, the importance of adhering to safety and hygiene, cybersecurity practices cannot be understated. The Ministry of Communications, realizing this, has undertaken a number of initiatives and activities, including the establishment of the National Cyber Security Governance Framework and the development of Ghana's Emergency Response Team SET ecosystem. There is the need to also protect personal data and the right to privacy. It is vital that personal information held by organizations, businesses, and government institutions are accurate, up-to-date, and used exactly for the purposes for which they are intended to be collected. More importantly, proper data protection procedures have to be followed, and this is essential in helping prevent cybercrimes by ensuring details and personal data are protected from misuse by third-party fraud, such as phishing scams and identity theft.
Let's turn attention to energy matters now. Former CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Alex Mould, is rejecting claims that the deregulation of the petroleum downstream sector has failed to protect consumers' interests. The policy introduced in 2015 sought to bring in more private players and prevent government from setting fuel prices. However, recent developments where marketers have failed to pass on the expected marginal reduction to consumers have led to many people questioning the effectiveness of this policy. Mr. Mould insists the benefits far outweigh the perceived negatives.
Yeah, the deregulation is going to keep the fuel price in a more stable manner than actually letting it fluctuate, because there are quite a number of things that go into the pricing. And if oil prices drop by 5% and the exchange rate goes up by 5%, you can't look at only one parameter and say it should have gone down. So they need to explain this to people as well, as to when will prices go up and when will prices not go up.
We're looking at a situation where they'll bring about some competition, it will empower consumers. Some are saying that deregulation has failed in that light. Do you support the argument, or
I don't support it in that light. What I support is that the price build-up must be more transparent, and I think what we also should support is government should not just pack taxes and levies in the price builder, because it is a very easy way for government to raise revenue.
You think it should be reviewed?
It has to be reviewed regularly.
Why should we review? Some are saying that.
We should review the price builder because we have to make sure that if there is a levy in, it is serving the purpose it is serving, and whether it has outlived its purpose is important. We cannot just leave that to the regulator to do. We need industry people. We need people like you and I to ensure that they're doing the right thing by asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Now, the Petroleum Commission says it has begun an evaluation of oil firms holding onto oil exploration blocks and will soon make a determination of their fate and give recommendations to Energy Minister of which blocks are active and which ones are not. The process, which is likely to end soon, could result in some oil firms losing their licenses after the process. In an interview with Joy Business, Chief Executive of the Commission, Egbert Fable Jr. disclosed that opportunities will be provided for the companies to defend themselves whenever the need arises.
Of course, you see, these are founded or grounded in petroleum agreements. Petroleum agreements are contracts. So each party to a petroleum agreement has rights and obligations. So all these matters are being looked at within a framework of what are the rights of the government of Ghana or the state of Ghana, what are the rights of GNPC, what are the duties and obligations of let's say, GNPC and the state of Ghana as against the rights, duties, and obligations of the contractor parties to every petroleum agreement. It is not an issue of whether anybody is going to lose their license or not. What we as a commission are focused on as an advisor to the Honorable Minister of Energy is that we will look at every petroleum agreement in operation today and against the work obligations of the companies, what they committed to do within a certain time frame, have they been able to do it?
He also hinted that some of the matters to be considered during the process is the impact of the Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire maritime boundary dispute.
Between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, an injunction, so to speak, was placed on Ghana against drilling. What impact does it have on those companies that were in the disputed area? For over 20-something months or so, that injunction was in force until the final determination of the case in September 2017. So, question is, do you go punishing somebody who, because of Ghana's international obligations, was asked to stop work for that long? So it is not a very simple matter. It's a matter of looking at it holistically against the rights and obligations of each of the contractor parties before a well-reasoned opinion as to what should be done to each one of those, companies that find themselves in that situation can be done.
Away from energy, now she is one of the most celebrated women entrepreneurs in the country, and her journey started 26 years ago when she decided to commercialize and distribute the hot black pepper sauce, Shito being the first to do so. Chief Executive of Samba Foods, Tisha Benyossef shares her experiences with us in the repeat of the Joy Business Van.
In 1993, Tisha Benyossef, then a specialist nurse, felt a strong urge to explore the entrepreneurial competencies in her. She discovered a need.
Up until 1993, when we started the production and distribution of Shito, there was no ready-made Ghanaian Shito on the market where you just go pick a jar. All Shitos were being produced by various peoples in their own homes. But then for someone to think about producing it in commercial quantities, no one was doing that. And that was the market niche, or the gap that we saw and we set up to, capture it.
Shito, the hot black pepper sauce, is used with a variety of Ghanaian dishes. It is a must-have for especially students in the boarding school. So it was a good business move, and being the first to commercialize on a large scale was even better. But Tisha had to start from somewhere.
I first made 10 jars of Shito, distributed it to friends to actually taste and evaluate and give their genuine comments. And they were all very encouraging. So they had to pay for it anyway, the 10 jars. Then we produced 20 jars for the then Kingsway stores in Accra. And I took it on a Thursday. By Saturday, it was finished.
10 bottles, 20 bottles, and she couldn't keep up anymore. At this time, production was done manually in her kitchen, and Tisha had to keep up with increasing demand. She had to re-strategize and had to automate production. That she did with some funding support. But at a point in the life of the company, the huge investments were starting to have a toll. Growth was slowing, and Samba Foods was yet to break even. What's worse, a joint venture failed, and the banks wouldn't budge either.
It was an experience that I would never wish my worst enemy to have. When you are doing well with the bank, they are always with you, you know, they are very cooperative. But when you become, you get a hiccup, instead of finding appropriate solutions to solve, and not only me, but SMEs, finding appropriate solutions to the problems and moving forward with you, they just make sure you cave in.
But Letitia would not give in just yet. Soon, she would get the breakthrough she needed.
After the failed joint venture, we were lucky to get money from the Venture Capital Fund to expand. And it was at the same time that Yams Restaurants, that is KFC, was in the country looking for people or a company to produce for their KFC restaurants. And when you mention Shito, they connote Samba, they came here. So they took us through the food safety systems that we needed to put in place to pass their external auditing regime, you know, to be able to supply them with the Shito.
Samba Foods had now included peanut butter and juices to its production. In 2015, it became the first indigenous company to list on the Ghana Alternative Market, operated by the Ghana Stock Exchange. Her contribution to industry in Ghana has been recognized by the state. Former President, the late Professor Evans Atta-Mills, conferred on her the state honor, Member of the Order of the Volta, for her invaluable contribution to the local industry in the category of food processing. But that is just one of several recognitions.
The one that I really cherish is the one, about 3 of them. The state one, that is Member of the Order of the Volta, that was presented to me by the late President, Professor Evans Atta-Mills. I was the Marketing Woman of the Year 2000. You know, it's one of the coveted awards that you can get. And to crown it all was an award by SMEGA.
Oh, she was referring to the SME Ghana Awards organized by Imaginate Company Limited. Aside from supplying international food chain KFC with Shito, 20% of Samba Foods products are for the export market.
I mean, you've seen it all, you've done it all within this past 2 decades. What's the future like for your business, Samba Foods? What do you hope to do next from all that you've accomplished so far?
Yeah, our ultimate objective, the mission that we set ourselves to achieve, is to have a food processing emporium. We'll be building a modern state-of-the-art food processing facility that will encompass all aspects of food processing. There's going to be an academy added to that to train, you know, other young people in food processing and preservation. And then again, to fortify our stable foods with minerals, vitamins, and other substances to fight micronutrient deficiency syndrome in children, pregnant women, and lactating women. This we have started. We have produced the first, you know, fortified Shito in collaboration with GIZ, and this is what we want to replicate to take care of these malnutrition, micro malnutrition in Ghana and then the sub-region. And once we've achieved that, then I can sit down and rest and go on pension.
Till then, it is more hard work.
So you can catch another edition of the Joy Business Band next Wednesday on Business Live with a repeat on Thursdays on the marketplace. Let's now turn attention to tourism matters. Now, the Minister of Tourism, Barbara Otin-Jesse, has recently indicated her outfit will be considering an increment in the tourism levy paid by hospitality industry operators in the country. According to her, the current rate of 1% paid by operators is not adequate enough to develop tourist sites. She believes an upward adjustment in the levy is crucial at this time. Let's recall exactly what she has been saying.
The tourism sector is public sector led, but it's private sector driven. So we are also looking at how we can get private sector on board for some of the projects that we need to do, so that we put in place public-private partnership to ensure that we can diversify our tourism industry. So we don't want so much to burden the industry by increasing the levy. We are looking at it. Maybe a little increment will come, but we also have to look at the private sector to come on board to support the industry.
Mobilization, are the people paying? Those who are not paying, any sanction for them? There are many hotels, some are not paying.
That is the issue that I raised, the mobilization. We have not been able to ensure that all the establishments are paying. So we are strengthening our mobilization to ensure that we bring everybody within. But aside from that, we are also looking at the possibility of a little increments in the rates, and then also the public-private partnership.
All right, so it looks like this session has not gone down too well with some industry players. I've been joined in the studio by President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Aka Nyameke Jr., for a conversation on some of the challenges, especially with regards to the tourism levy. Dr. Nyameke, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Now, exactly, educate us, what is the tourism levy?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, and thanks for the opportunity. It's always a joy to be here. Before I comment on the clip you just showed, I would like to also comment on an earlier statement which you carried on your station, I think at Joy FM, Monday or so, from the same minister, which said, or she commented on the Bank of Ghana's directive on the payment and charging in dollars. Now, what happened was that when the Bank of Ghana issued the latest statement, that directive, we met as an association, we met all the big hotels, and the decision we took was that yes, we will price in cedis because we are operating in Ghana, we'll price in cedis. However, we want the Bank of Ghana to give us a special concession to also receive in payments when the need arises. If a client or customer comes
and offers dollars,
we should be given the opportunity to receive it.
What did the Bank of Ghana initially say?
The Bank of Ghana is saying that we should price in cedis and also receive payments in cedis.
Okay. All right.
So we agree with the first point, and then we have petitioned the Bank of Ghana on the second part to see that allow us. If a customer comes and wants to pay in cedis, why not? Because we are pricing cedis. But if the customer also wants to pay in dollars or pounds, allow us to receive it and then give us the modalities to operate that.
Is that not going to pose any problems?
Certainly not. Certainly not. We want the foreign currency, so why not?
Now, what is the tourism levy? What exactly is it?
The tourism levy was actually enacted in 2012 as a result of the Tourism Act 817, 2011. And that's to say that we should charge 1% on all the services that we deliver to the customers. So if you come to my hotel and I charge, say, 100 cedis basic rate, I need to add 1% on it, collect it, and put it in a fund called the Tourism Development Fund.
Now, 1% isn't not too small, like the minister has been
saying. That's a lot of money if you put all the hotels together. If you pick all the hotels paying that 1% tourism levy, it's a lot of money.
And the minister has made some comment. I mean, he or she is advocating an increase, perhaps, of the levy.
Honestly, it came as a very big surprise, very big surprise with that statement, and I'm glad she mentioned maybe, and I'm also glad that whoever interviewed her asked her all the necessary questions.
The revenue mobilization.
Exactly.
Your people are not paying, maybe.
Well, you see, let's put it this way. Tax payment is not something anybody enjoys. So the important thing is to put in the necessary measures to make sure that people are paying.
Okay.
Now, so far, what we believe is that, yes, the mobilization hasn't gone well. And who are you to blame for that? Okay. So if there's any idea of increasing it, we need to rather strengthen the system now in terms of the mobilization and collection. And be sure that we are gathering from all those we need to gather. Because, you see, Emmanuel, as we speak, the hotel industry contributes over 80% of that fund, to that fund.
Okay.
But we have several other
tourist operators.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, but the hotel industry is contributing over 80%. So what's up with the other operators?
Now, so what is your view? You want, initially when we had a discussion, you were calling for proper disbursement model or plan. What exactly do you want?
That is also another aspect of our issue. Now, you see, let me put it in perspective so that viewers will appreciate it. The Ghana Tourism Authority, is a body mandated to regulate the hotel industry. That's a primary regulator. Okay, so they license our units on an annual basis, and let me add that we pay for that. Now, so when that fund was set up, the fund has been set up to develop the tourism sector. Mind you, it's not a tax, it's a levy. So that money is meant purely for the tourism industry. Okay, we pay that 1% to the fund. Okay, now the association and indeed hoteliers have become a very important point in the chain of activities as far as the tourism industry is concerned. And we do a lot of things which the Ghana Tourism Authority cannot do. We are in touch with our members, we inform our members, we educate our members, we encourage our members to pay some of these things. All we are saying that money which is passing through us, because of course it's a charge on service, so we wouldn't say it's our money, but it is passing through us. When water passes through pipe, a bit remains in the pipe.
So you want a chunk of it?
Yes, we are saying that every year, and I'm not talking even only about the Hotels Association, I'm talking about the Ghana Tourism Federation, the private sector wing of tourism development. Allocate some amount of money from that fund on a yearly basis. Don't restrict us with bring this proposal, bring that document, bring this. Give us a chunk. Just as they receive the money and they know the amount and therefore are able to plan based on what is there, we also want to have that liberty. Give us a chunk, 5%, 10%.
Don't you have your own sources of collection, revenue collection, to help develop the industry? Don't you have dues?
See, we do, but like any typical voluntary organization, we are limited in terms of payment of dues, which is why, and let me also remind you that tourism development levy was an idea that came from the private sector. But in a way, since the agencies have hijacked it, and then...
All right, so we don't have much time, but quickly, also you wanted to talk on copyright issues.
Yes. You see, we have a terrible or serious challenge in that area. The Copyright Act is there, but as we speak, there's no airline on it. And that is giving the Ghana Music Rights Organization and Audiovisual Rights Society of Ghana some liberty to use formula that they believe is in their interest to charge royalties. For instance, they want to use the number of rooms to charge the royalties. We are against it because by the Act, if you go into the Act, what it means is that whatever you are broadcasting, you are paying for it. When we receive it in our rooms and we also pay, it's double taxation.
All right.
We will pay for the swimming area and the restaurant and all this, not for rooms.
All right. Many thanks for that information there and education, of course. And that was Dr. Edward Aka Nyameke Jr. He is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. He has been commenting on some of the challenges affecting the industry. Away from that, board and management of the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, have set a year strategic plan to set the bank on a path of sustained growth. This came up at the bank's annual general meeting in Accra, where it was announced a profit before tax of 34 million cedis in 2018, a dip from the 47 million Ghana cedis before tax paid in 2017. Addressing shareholders, board chair of the ADB Bank, Alex Benyossef, explained that even though profit margins have slacked, the bank is being repositioned to be more profitable. There's more in this report.
ADB Bank underperformed in the 2018 financial year after recording profit before tax of 34 million cedis in 2018 as against 47 million cedis in 2017. Board chair of the bank, Alex Benyossef, at the annual general meeting explained to shareholders the banking sector cleanup, continuous shift in shareholding structure, among others, had a toll on the bank. He has been detailing some regulatory changes moving forward.
You would recall, if you were in this country, that a certain bank during that period came up to say that it had taken over ADB. If you recall, this created a number of problems, because some of our large corporate account holders and our correspondent banks were sort of surprised that such a thing could happen. And this is some turbulence which occurred, which I need to mention, that it created a little slowdown in our in our operations. But happily, it was quickly put behind us, and we proceeded, to do our business as usual.
Meanwhile, Alex Benako tells Joy Business ADB is currently in the best position as a bank following recent restructuring initiatives aimed.
And that'll be it for the marketplace today. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. You have to join me again same time tomorrow for another edition. Have a good afternoon.